I welcome everyone. I could have been down. I drove about 40 minutes to get to Chill Hill because it's been for a few hours, and this seems to be the only place where, no matter how cloudy it is, the sun continues to shine, and there it is. So I'll show it to you. Enough of my mug, okay? Thanks everyone for coming. So let me get this going. Um, huh. Okay. I hope I have chat on. Why is this not? Okay. Hey, Angela. Good. Chat's on. Okay. All right. No filters. Okay. Bree, honey, thank you so much for coming. Yeah. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not good at like speeches or anything. Um, I'm going to do my best. Um, so bear with me. Hey, Jennifer, surviving the storms. Hi, little Laura. Melly, Jennifer, Tony, everyone. So this stream is dedicated to our Sarah. Oh my God, I'm already gonna start crying for God's sakes. I said I wouldn't do this. So um, there's gonna be I don't want any discussion of any of the crap that's going on out there um, with the situation. Okay, um, who went live and did inappropriate lives. I get it, I get it. But I think we've had a hard enough time as it is, never mind the people who did streams and just really hurt a lot of us. Really hurt a lot of us. So I want to make this about Sarah. Hi, Ginger Locks. Hi, everyone. Nanya. Um, I'm sorry I'm not on StreamYard, so if you have something to share, please put it in the comment section. I will read comments. I tend to roll my eyes up to my head when I when I speak, but I'm going to do really much better in just reading comments. Monetization is off. Please do not donate to my PayPal. Okay. What I would like you to do, and if anyone does and didn't get this message, I'm going to donate it to a local recovery center, which I'm very active in my community as a parent of a loved one uh, of in with the struggle of substance abuse and who is now in recovery um, for today, right? One day at a time. And I used to always tell Sarah, I used to always give her the AA little quotes, keep it simple. One thing I used to tell Sarah, even recently, when it came to people coming in her streams and just giving her crap, I'd always say, Sarah, you don't have to go to every fight you're invited to. And she's like, I know, Pink. You're right. I love you. So, and she really worked at that, and was doing better at that. Hey, D-Rod. So there's a lot of people. I can't say hi to anyone. Irish gal. Oh, Irish gal, I can't give you a wrench because my settings only go up to hide user on this channel. But I'll do it later. So I hope that we will not need our mods. Um, so Bree, I do want to say this to you on behalf of this entire community that Sarah belonged to. We are so very sorry for your loss, your sudden loss. Um, in times like this, I know when I go through loss, I've experienced a sudden loss. A lot of people have. All I can do is I often say keep the faith because it's so grief stricken and overwhelming that you can't help but fall toward God. And make sure that you keep him close. And please keep the faith. Um, yes, Melly, Sarah had the most amazing heart. And I'll tell you something. I I felt really blessed when I recently moved a couple of months ago to help take care of my mom who's ill. I left my job to take care of her. Um, and I am not a morning person at all. I work second shift. I have been for over 30 years. But now I've had to get up early in the mornings, and each morning I would catch Sarah's live. She was an early bird, and every time I would see Sarah and Dippity is live, I would I would automatically feel happy and just in there and say hello because she was filled with so much love for everyone. Bree, if there's anything we can do for your family, and I know Randy asked, thanks, Tony, asked you of this earlier today. Please let us know. Please let us know. And again, please, nobody donate to my PayPal. If you feel the need to donate, um, donate to perhaps a charity of your choice in Sarah's name. I don't want to give her last name without permission, and that is totally up to Bray. If you want to uh, purchase a memorial tree, there are a lot of things that you can do in honor of her. Um, you can donate it to a local organization, a recovery center, AA, which is Alcoholics Anonymous. So I'll leave that up to you. So let me get on chat. So Bree, if there's anything we can help out with, please let us know. These sunsets, I call this Chill Hill, and it's really my peaceful place. And I hope you guys can get some peace out of this. And I'm glad that we can come together. Whistle down, hello. Thanks everyone for coming. Rosia, good to see you. Oh, Rosia, I hope you feel better. Thanks, Kathy. Um, I en- for me, you're welcome, Jennifer. I enjoyed especially when Brandon would come on with Sarah and talk about recovery. Thanks, Bree. Bree, is there any? Did you already answer? I probably already went by it. I'm gonna keep my eyes on chat. Um, when Brandon, and how is Brandon? You know, I've thought of him so much, as well as you and your brother, and I believe that your grandpa, Sarah's dad, is still alive. Yeah, as a mom of a son who struggles with substance abuse, I cannot tell you how much that meant to me when they would both do it, even when Sarah would do it alone, but with her and Brandon, they were such a team at this. And I learned a lot. And I learned from Sarah and Brandon because from those struggling themselves. And I tend to stay away from the word addict because I don't like to use labels. To me, that's a label. I refer it as to those struggling with substance abuse. Um, I learned not to feel guilty that none of what my son has gone through. I know, Bree. Well, if you do speak to him, um, please tell him that we all are praying and thinking about him and sending our love. Hey, niece. So I learned as a parent not to feel guilty, that I knew that addiction is a disease, just as diabetes, that it is not a choice. Um, Nobody wakes up in the morning as someone who is struggling and says, I just don't want to live today. No, no. I've been involved in a community of parents of people struggling or in recovery, and I have never, ever heard anyone say that they lost their will to live. There's always hope. There's always a glimmer of hope. Um, Thanks, Melinda. There's so see, Bree, I hope you can feel all the love in here. Um, it's hard, what do you say? It's so hard, and I'm, I know I'm doing my best, but like I said, in times like this, I just put my faith in God and say, just help me with this burden. Don't take it all from me because I think it's important that we grieve um, and remember our beloved Sarah for the positivity. I She was so positive I can't even remember the negative stuff. I just can't. I can't. I know a couple years ago it was heavy drama and but even through that she was a spitfire. Like, all right, patrol came in, she'd be like she just blurt out her address, her town, city, state, come here, bring it on. She was a spitfire. Hi, Orange Butterfly. I'm glad that you did this, and I love seeing positive things about my mom. I'm so happy to see everyone who loves her in this chat. Yeah, I'm glad that, you know, you feel that. Nanya, I know. Last night, actually, I fell asleep early. I was so drained and cried. Um, you know, we were on Makeup Mobsters Live when someone came in and told us, and we were just like, no, no. And it's a shock, and that takes a lot out of people. And it's okay to cry. I cried. I think we all are crying. You were at Sarah's very first live stream ever. She was so cute. She still was. She's a beautiful girl. Beautiful, beautiful girl. There was not much not to love about her. And she even loved most of her enemies. We're not all perfect. Um, she believed in making amends. Um, I could tell that she was implementing the 12-step program in her life. But for those of you who don't understand substance abuse, and we don't know, how she passed, but I know she struggled, and um, I know as a parent, it was awful. It was tough for me and my other kids, but I often thought that the struggle was so much more harder for my son, for my child, even when he was in recovery. Um, it is a disease. It can't be cured. It can only be maintained through love, support, and a higher power. Um, and I know she tried. I know she tried so hard. Thanks, Sleeping Cats. So let me just read some comments. When I told my mom I was carrying her fourth grandchild on Friday, she was so excited and told me she named the baby Sarah Jean, just like her. If the baby is a girl, she will get her wish. Oh, she was so happy. She told us all that you were pregnant again. Congratulations. What a tough time for you. Money moves, you're welcome. And you might just get a girl. Yeah, so sad when the demon wins. I try not to look at it as the demon winning. Um, I try to look at it as, the person, anyone who's struggling, put up one hell of a fight and was courageous. I don't like to give credit at all to the demon. Um, I try to stay more focused, um, but it's nothing but courage. When someone loses their battle, I think of it just losing the battle. Um, and it's been so, so hard for so many people. And again, I loved the talks that she had when she referred to her recovery, when people would come up on her panel to talk with her and even call her out when they felt she needed to be called out. Nobody sugarcoated it. Um, Maybe some. I think at one point I tried to sugarcoat it a little bit, but only because I wasn't sure. And I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt. But I do know from the step one in AA that we are powerless over others, um, as I was over, as I am over my son. No matter how much I chased him, whether it was from here, literally all the way to Hawaii, when he stayed after we moved back, and I went back to find him, I knew even at that point that I was completely powerless, that it was he um, who had to seek recovery. Is her YouTube, hi Mary, good to see you. Is her YouTube still up, Pink? Yes, it is. And a lot of people are leaving their condolences in her last live stream. Yeah, Mary Bree, if anyone doesn't know, Bree is Brianna. That's Sarah's daughter. And how often, you all, did she talk about her kids? Every single time she was live. Or if she emailed you or texted you. She so often mentioned her kids and how proud she was of both of them. Bria, I'm so incredibly sorry for your loss. I am local. Will there be a public viewing or services for Sara? Yeah, I hope her channel stays up. I think it's helpful for people to go back. I've gone back, way back, even a couple of years, um, because it made me happy just to listen to her voice and her sassiness. Yeah, so feel free to leave a message on her page, her last live stream, which I believe was Saturday. Thanks for Lisa. Hey Anna. And my son, a lot of people, the OGs, know him as Crush. Angela, that live makes me so upset. I just don't understand. She was so happy. We were talking about getting her CDCA like me, and then the same night she leaves us. I know, I know. And hopefully, Bree, that you'll get some answers to help with, I don't want to say closure, that sounds so cold. There's never closure, but hopefully you'll get some answers. Um, I don't know the circumstances of her passing. What I do know is it is a lot of people that my son knows that I've known, who are or were in recovery. Um, you could be happy and there would be no red flags, and yet the stinking thinking, if this was the circumstances, it may not be, but I know I can speak for other people that I've known that, um, any point in recovery, regardless how happy a person is, it takes that one thought and it can take over. And it's a battle and it's a disease. So think of it, like diabetes, your sugar goes up and down, and even though you might eat properly, sometimes no matter what you eat, things can go haywire, but they happen in the brain instead of the endocrine system. You know what I mean? Um, it is a disease, and there are things that go on in the brain. Um, and that's what those in recovery have to try to manage. And even with my son, she did pass from an OD, and that's why I don't understand addiction. Because, Bree, it is a disease. Um, I think maybe when you're ready, um, you know, try to educate yourself on it. And like I said, it's like diabetes or cancer, but it's in the brain. People are predisposed to it. Um, it's like with insulin, when your sugar goes up, you could have eaten perfectly that day, but your pancreas is going wonky. The same thing with the brain and addiction. Pardon the truck. Um, and the difference is we have to mentally, in recovery, you have to mentally deal with it. Or some people take Suboxone, or if they need help, or methadone. Um, but it is definitely a disease of the brain. It's not something that your mother created by herself, and it wasn't something my son created either. I have 3 children, and only my son struggles. But it's how he was born. It's often genetic. Um, some people can take a sip of wine and they're fine, and yet their sibling might take it, and it triggers something, disposition in the brain that's subject to substance abuse, like alcoholism, drug addiction. Hey, Truth, how are you? Remy, hi. Thanks for coming, everyone. No, Truth, you're right. Sarah did not want to leave. She she'd say it often, I don't want to die, and you could tell she didn't. I don't believe that she was even covering something up. You know what I mean? I truly believe in her voice that she was happy. But again, when you're struggling with the disease of addiction, at any moment, whether you're happy, elated, ecstatic, the stinking thinking can come in, the desire. And that's where programs come in, or in sponsorships. And when my son would go through this and he would relapse, I would say to him, why? Like, like when you start feeling that urge, you've got to reach out to somebody, whatever it takes. Oh, Bree, good for you. I feel like I've learned is irrelevant to me because it's my mom. It's like I was blinded. You know what? I'm taking care of my mom who was terminally ill. And as a nurse, I don't know nothing. I mean, hospice comes in and I sit there and I ask him all these questions that logically I should know. But when it comes to your own mom, your own family, it's like you just can't think logically. And it's going to take time. It's going to take time. Kelly says, Brie, I lost my mom to addiction when she was 39. I'm sending you all my love, prayers, and healing. That's so nice. Mary says it really hits her heart. A lot of people can relate. Louisa, I blame government and many ABC agencies. Yeah, it's a mess. Irish Gal says, Bree, you was so loved via way of Sarah. Whoops, where did it go? Oh dear. Okay, and this is so beneficial for those who loved her to be with others that loved her. It's therapeutic. So often with overdose, we wonder if it was purposeful. This is one that no one questions. Sarah didn't want to leave, and that makes this much so much harder to accept. You're right. It's so hard to reach out, though, Pink. Well, yeah, so I was gonna say, so I would tell my son that, and I'd be like, "You've done it so many times before." And before fentanyl came out, he would, and I know he'll let me speak his part of his story, a little part of it, because we're very close and open with each other. And maybe he'll even come in here tonight, but I think he's actually at a meeting. Let me see if I can catch over here. Um, he would say, "Mom, you don't know how many times I've reached out. I reached out 1,000 times. And it was that one time. I just couldn't. I don't know why." And then I felt like, okay. But then when fentanyl came out, it was just, it got worse because fentanyl is much more addicting and it's in a lot of drugs. A lot. You name it. It's even been found in marijuana from the streets. So, which makes it even a much more harder struggle because it's so addicting. But even without the fentanyl, it's still the same disease. So we can only hope that they do reach out. But even my own son, that one time, didn't reach out. And we were lucky. And I know Tracy can relate. Her son struggles with this as well. I've breathed life into my son already, and I found him without a pulse. Um, and it's day to day. It's day to day. Got the call from his dad. He overdosed. Mary, who was this again? I lost a very good friend I told you the other day, 24, and I talked to him 2 weeks ago. And when I left, I knew he was going to die. I begged him, please come to my house. I'll take care of you. No, I'm so sorry. Thanks, Truth. Hey, Joanne. Thanks for coming in. Yes, Lucy, it is a very dangerous drug. It doesn't take much with the fentanyl. But also, too, for those who are in recovery, and the substances are out of their bodies, when they do relapse, their tolerance is not as high as it was previously, and it doesn't take much at all. Um, when we hear that someone overdosed and they were in recovery, and you're like, why? But a lot of times it's because their tolerance is so low at that point. Hey, CC Ryder, yeah. Mary, oh my God, be right back. What's the matter? I hope everything's okay. Hey, hell to the no. Thanks for coming. Shockwave says, I'm lucky I have those who won't turn their back, and they went through it with me. But in the end, it was them who gave me the will to change. Been there, done that, and still here to talk about it. Amen. Amen. Yeah, Melly, that you're right. That's how they overdose. It doesn't take much. They might think, oh, I've taken this amount before and I've been perfectly fine. But again, when it's out of their systems, right, the bodies aren't used to doubling the dosage. I don't even think it has to be doubled. It doesn't take much than a little bit more than a regular dose. Linda says that's part of what's so worrisome, the fear, the relapse, and that will be their last time. Right. Melinda, I live that fear every day. Every day. And Tracy, I know Tracy left, but her and I often talk about it. Like, who's next, And we are truly powerless. We're truly, truly powerless. It sucks. It sucks. Mary, is everything okay? He said, oh my God, be right back. Equivalent to only 3 grains of salt can cause death. Yeah. Yeah, I've also heard like the size of a piece of grain of rice. Leonard Pink, you're certainly not alone. I live with that fear too. Yeah. And then when we love someone and we lose them, and they're even not when they're our own, it seems like it hurts just as bad, you know? Okay, Mary, thanks for coming. There's so much love in here, and my sister's only child died of FOD a few years ago. Fentanyl. That is not a fraud. Full on drama. We still miss him. Yeah, of course. Notorious Ash, hi. Lucy's World. I miss Bree's comment. Chat's going by fast. Where is it? I think I missed it. I can't find it. But Bree, again, if there's anything we can do, we are lifting you up like you won't believe. And I hope that those who are very close to Sara, you know, hold on for the truck to go by. I apologize. Teacher mom sending love to Sara's family. Thank you. Um, Bree, make sure you have a great support system. Okay, even if it's people through YouTube. Oh, I just damn post lights. Mm, okay, through YouTube, you know, reach out to people. Truth, my son's best friend died today of an overdose. I'm on high alert. Oh my God, Truth, I'm so sorry. I shared about Sarah, says Alexis, to my daughter. My daughter has her struggles, which makes her mama sometimes struggle with worry. Oh, yeah, we do. That's all we do. Right, Truth? Money says, I never understood how Sarah could freely tell everyone I love you, but now we know she meant every I love you, and she just wanted everyone to reciprocate and freely love her back. Of course, of course. And we often say it, be kind to one another because you never know when any of our last days are. Um, I feel really blessed that I got to catch those early morning lives. And do you guys remember that gentleman that came up on our stream last week and preached from a scripture? When he came up and I remember who he is familiar. There's a YouTuber who's a doctor who actually discusses narcissism. He looks just like him, and I'm gonna look into it. But this man it was so random, and he came up and he embraced Sarah, and he started reading scripture, and Sarah was so welcoming to him. It was like, and after he left, we were all like, where did this come from? And I said to myself, wherever this man came from, there was a meaning behind it. I don't know what it was, but that man preached. Yeah, money moves. It was ironic, right? You never know when your words to some will be your last. Make them loving. Absolutely. Absolutely. I try to do that. I will admit I do have problems with some people that have really hurt me. Yeah, none your biz, right? And I watched it the other day again. He was talking about cutting the foot off and the grass is greener. And I meant to ask him what proverb from the Bible he was referring to. Um, but I know he wasn't reading chat. Tony, my sister OD'd on Valentine's Day this year. She just broke her hip recently. Now I worry she's hooked on meds again. Oh, Tony, I'm so sorry. Hopefully you can have a talk with her, and hopefully her doctor um, can intervene somehow, even if you can reach out. I know there's HIPAA, but there's nothing to stop you from at least notifying her physician and voicing your concerns. Because when I worked in that field, it wasn't unusual for a family member to call us and put us on alert. Nunya, you think so? I wasn't paying much attention to chat. I was really listening to him. And I just kept thinking, like, God sends us people so randomly to cross our path, even if it's for a moment. And I kept thinking, God sent this man, and I still can't figure out why, but I'll never forget it. It is a roller coaster, Melinda, especially, with the fentanyl epidemic. We used to talk about don't enable, but it's so different now. It's not like intervention on TV where you see, you're not paying your cell phone bill, cut your cell phone off, you're not to come back to the house. I will support you in recovery, but I will not support you in addiction. And that goes for the whole family. And to me, and this is my opinion, that is the worst thing that you can do is walk away and say, I'm done. You come to me when you're ready, because sometimes doing that only puts them deeper into despair because they need love. They need support. It doesn't mean I'm giving the person the drug or the money for the drug, but I'm sure as hell going to be there to support, whether it's in recovery or in relapse. But I also know that I can't save even my own son, that I don't have that power. Yes, yeah, Bree. So um, I hope that you have a good support system. And I know anybody here in this room, anyone who's not here, who is Sarah's friend on YouTube, I know that they are there if you need them, if you need to talk to somebody, and if you need any kind of help. And I speak for everyone. This isn't about me. No way. This is about everybody in this community who loved her, who even crossed paths with her and had a falling out, or even, I know they would even help because I know this community. I know this community that during times like this, we come together and then we start fighting again. Give it a couple of weeks, but honest, this has hit a lot of us really hard. I think more so than any other loss because it was unexpected. Sarah was happy, and I hope, Bree, that you can find some answers, but please don't blame yourself. Please don't blame yourself or anyone, your brother. That's the last thing you should be doing is even questioning if only. Don't do that. Don't go there. That's the stinking thinking with families who are affected by their loved ones struggling. Don't go there. And there's Al-Anon. There are support groups out there with other family members who've been through what you're going through. So it's important that you connect with these people because we weren't meant to go through this world alone. No way. No way. And be careful. You don't isolate. If you need to grieve in private, I understand. But if you start isolating and not communicating with people, just get your ass up out of bed. please, and reach out. Reach out to your friends, your family. That's what ifs are definitely there. And I know that, Bree, I'm sure that is just, of course, it's normal. But I want you to understand that it doesn't apply to this. Because in the 12-step program, and your mom would have said this, and she probably has said this to you, we are powerless over this, even the person struggling. This is why we have to reach out to a higher power. We can't do this alone. And no matter what I did for my son, I could have been his shadow. And believe me, I used to drive into the bowels of Boston, that's where I'm from, and find him in a camp city and drag him by the shirt and throw him in my car as recently as I think last year when he relapsed. Mom, I'm okay. The excuses, I'm okay. I'm just hanging out with my friends. And, but I still was powerless. I couldn't lead him to rehab. He had to be the one to do it himself. Yes, I'm from Boston. And through grief, we wouldn't grieve so hard if we didn't love so hard. Remember that. Remember that. Sometimes our grief feels like we're never, ever, ever, ever going to stop crying. And the tears stop eventually and then they come. I don't, it will always be a grief, but it will feel softer way down the road. But if we didn't love so hard, that person we lost, we wouldn't cry so hard. That is love. When you lose someone, it's grief. And I knew when I heard your mom pass, like I cried because I knew that I loved her. Some people just say, "Oh, I love you," and yeah, yeah, yeah. But I knew with Sarah, as so many others of us here are so upset, is because they genuinely loved your mom. Thanks, Alexis. And if anyone, like for the stupid trolls and people who just are judgmental, remember that a lot of it in the is ignorance. There are a lot of people out there who do not understand addiction, and that's ignorance. Okay, that's gonna take education, and who knows? Look at Bree. You're going into being an advocate in recovery, working with people. You have so much to offer to so many people who are struggling. And you're going to learn so much, and you are going to be an expert in this, and you're going to have experience, and you're going to have stories to share, and you will lift up thousands and thousands of people in honor of your mom. Bree says at some point when I'm able, without bawling my eyes out, I'd absolutely love to try and go live on my own channel and speak my mom's story. I want people to know her, and I want to use her story. Absolutely. When you're ready, absolutely. Can someone drop Bree's link to her channel so we can subscribe? Let's get her up to 1,000, y'all. Joanne, you're right. Addiction is not a choice. It is a disease. Nobody gets up and says, I'm gonna walk out in the streets and just find something. And I discussed this briefly the other night that most people who fall to addiction, it is usually from a prescription from the doctor, the dentist, and I think um, uh, Joanna, you and I were talking about that briefly, and Joanna's a nurse as well. If you have a fracture, if you have a wisdom tooth pulled, they're prescribed narcotics. Um, and if you're predisposed, um, Thank you. Thank you for dropping her link. Everyone, y'all sub, share it. For creators out there, please share that on your page, on your community post. Share it to your friends who are YouTubers, email them, text them. Let's get her up to 1,000 likes real soon. So most people, they're already predisposed. It's a genetic component. Okay? So when that doctor prescribes a narcotic, he can't tell. You know, if that person especially hasn't been on narcotics before and they pull a tooth, they're practicing their oath to do no harm. So a doctor for your broken leg will prescribe something. And usually they just prescribe a small amount because, because there's that risk. And but for those who are predisposed, that's all it can take sometimes. But it's not their fault. And I'm telling you, everyone, it's not their fault. It's like people who are born with autism, or people who are geniuses, or people who have any cognitive deficits. Um, it is not their fault. That is their brain. That's how it developed. And addiction is genetic. And again, I get 3 kids. One struggles. The other two never had a problem with it. And they're adults now. But it doesn't matter what she did, it matters who she was. Absolutely, absolutely. No matter what, how she went, narc or not, it's who she was. Take that from someone who has been there. It isn't easy to stop that. That's an awesome comment, Shockwave. I couldn't have said it better. It doesn't matter what she did, it matters who she was. Pink, how is he? How's my son? He's good. He's still in recovery. Um, I talk to him a lot. I'll be honest, when a week goes by and I don't hear from him, I'm like, uh-oh. And I'll call him. And if he doesn't pick up, I'll blow up his phone. He knows. He knows now when mom starts blowing his phone up, he'll text and he'll say either mom, I'm at work or I'm driving. I'll call you when I get back, and he does. But the fear is always there, but he's good. And Crush, for those of you who know who my son, Crush was his YouTube name. He was my parody bodyguard, and I did parodies of Molly Golightly. And he's funny, he's smart, he's um, he has an Instagram page called it's at a dumb young man. A dumb, like not smart, but he's brilliant. A dumb young man. And he shares his recovery on his Instagram page, pictures and positivity. So if any of you, I can post it. Um, he's offered it before when I revealed to him what I was doing on YouTube. Thanks, Tony. Yep, Tony follows him. Rita's Juicy Life follows him. And he's all about positivity. Um, I can, oh, thanks, Curious Rose. But yes, remember it's who your mother was and still is. You know, she's up in heaven looking down, and she is who she is. And she was beautiful. She's still beautiful. And it's going to take time. I can't say to you, Bree, oh, give it a month and you're going to be okay. I don't know. I had a sudden loss close to me with my husband, and he was young. It wasn't an overdose. And, you know, it's always there, but it gets softer, you know. And I still cry, and it's okay. It's been 23 years. It's okay. You're gonna find strength from your grief. I promise you that. You will find strength. And like I said, you are going to lift up so many other people in honor of your mom. And I know that she is so proud of you and your son. It's undeniable. How many times did Sarah talk about her kids? Every single time Sarah went live, she always spoke about her kids. Hey, the real hooker, how are you? Thanks for coming in. Alexis says, I know Sarah wanted nothing more than a full life of sobriety in her family. Unfortunately, sometimes the beast swallows us, and sometimes it's bigger than us to win the battle. That's right. Yeah. Crush and Pink, a dynamic combo. He got his mom's spirit and hilarity. You think so? He was shocked when I first remember that video when I first told him what I did and I showed him the Molly Golightly jail video that I did. The kid never snorted in his life, and there's my son. It was on my birthday like 3 years ago. He's snorting, and I'm like, I'll never forget it. I'm like, well, Adam, you know, mom's funny, right? And he's like, yeah, but I didn't know you were this funny. It was absolutely priceless. Priceless. I still have the video. I still have the video up. He snorted. I said, you've never snorted a day in your life. You don't even snore. And he's like, he couldn't catch his breath. When people are finally able to get sober, it takes work to stay sober. Yeah, so recovery is the hardest part. That it's not getting yourself to a program, to detox, to rehab. Staying in recovery is the hardest part. He was D-Rod. He was laughing so hard. Oh, Bree. Well, yeah, this was totally for her. And Bree, I know I've already asked like 15 times. Is there anything we can do for you as far as like helping you out with expenses, food, um, anything that you need for the baby, for your children? Do you have a wish list? Irish Tail Analyzer in the diaper. The A, the letter A, the red A. A lot of people want to do something great. A lot of people want to help. So if Bree, if you know, think about it. You can reach out. If my email, can someone post my email, pinkladylux4, the number 4 at gmail.com. If you have other people's emails, email them. It doesn't matter who you email. Just let someone know if there's anything you need. Yeah, Bree, we are here to lift you up with the grace and God will wrap his loving arms around you. Good night, everyone, and rest well. Thank you. That was beautiful. And before we go, I want to read the Serenity prayer, and I better get through it without, where did I put it? I'm going to read the whole prayer. It's not that long, but I'm going to read more than the first paragraph. And it's getting dark out, so hold on. Let me get a lighter so I can see. Okay. Let's just all wrap each other with love. Since we can't hold hands, but let's all bow our heads and think of our beloved Sarah, who left us, whom we loved so much, and she loved us back even more. And she loved hard, and she fought hard. And keep the faith, everyone, because when it gets really hard in any of the storms that you battle, please keep the faith. Make sure you have a higher power, whether it's God or someone that you can reach out to. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace. Talking, oh my word, talking as Jesus, um, taking as Jesus would in this sinful world, and to know that this sinful world, to take the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you in the next life, in the next. Amen. And that was written by Reynard Nubier. So there is a whole version to the Serenity prayer. Y'all can just look it up um, for the whole prayer. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And why is it getting out of focus? I don't know why, but that's weird. Um, I have to go. I want to thank everyone for being here. Bree, thank you so much. I hope you feel our love, all of our love. Um, yes, yes, there is a new service to the suicide prevention lifeline. United States, you dial 988. Okay. Um, thank you for mentioning that. The St. Francis prayer in the big book is beautiful too. And you know something, Bree? I don't know if you have the books for Al-Anon or even the big book, the AA book, but I would suggest that, and maybe one of us, if you're willing, even privately, to give your address, we'd be happy to send you that. Um, and it's not a book. The big book is not just a book you read from page one to the end. You will have that book the rest of your life um, to refer to. Um, and I would suggest books both from Al-Anon and from AA. And take care of yourself and that beautiful baby you're carrying. Okay. All right, everyone, thank you. Thank you so much for coming in and showing your love and support to Brie and sharing your thoughts, your memories, your wisdom, your advice, your love, your support for our beloved sister, Sara. Um, yes, Al-Anon is highly recommended for community and support. Yeah, okay. All right, Bree, take care, sweetheart. We love you. All right, thanks everyone for coming. I believe Diane is going live at 8 o'clock. It's probably past 8 o'clock, so if anyone wants to go over there, Rabbit Dog is the guest. I think the topic is MERB. I think I'm going live at maybe 10 because I missed her live last night because I didn't give a crap about her last night. It was a time for us to all. It was too upsetting for anyone. Um, I think we all took that day and that night to just reflect on Sarah and and to grieve. Oh, she changed it to another. I hope she didn't change it because of me. Okay. All right. Well, I guess she's not live. All right. So I might go live at 10, talk about MERB. But again, if anybody, wants to come up at 10 o'clock and just share, um, you know, um, start to heal and get some more love and support, y'all welcome to come over. You're welcome, Shockwave. Thank you guys more for coming here. My cup overfloweth. My cup overfloweth. All right. Good night, everyone. Good night, Bree. We love you.